Hello everybody, Jim Ketchum with PRMG here. Thought I'd take a quick minute and do a product profile on a property type that we all run into from time to time, and some of you may not feel comfortable trying to place these loans, so I'm here to try and fix that. So anyways, manufactured housing. And this, my first installment of Jimbo's Lending Academy. So anyway, first some disclaimers. Number one, this is for real estate professionals only. Please don't share this with your borrowers. However, if the general public finds it, so be it. There's nothing super secret here. Also, always, defer to guidelines. This is just an overview. It's meant to give you some basic information that you can find useful for quoting and originating these loans. You'll always want to follow up with actual agency, Fannie, Freddie, FHA, VA guidelines, and also PRMG's guidelines to really drill down to specific needs and requirements of this program. So anyway, what is manufactured housing and how does it differ? So the first thing is borrowers and realtors interchangeably use manufactured, modular, mobile homes half the time, 2/3, 3/4, all the time. They don't know what they're talking about. They just throw this out. So it's important that you know the difference. So modular homes are ones that are built in a factory, but they're built a wall at a time, taken to the site, and then they're assembled at that site. The important distinction there being local building authorities make inspections on these, so they meet specific codes, code requirements for that state, as opposed to being kind of an overarching federal type view. Pretty much all lenders and most loan programs will do all their programs, all their loan to values, everything will fit. A modular home is essentially a stick-built home. The two caveats being certain niche type products, some jumbos, some non-QM products may not do this as a specific exemption. Like I said, it's pretty rare. And then also you'll need comparable properties. So if you've got a modular sitting by itself and there's nothing near it that's a modular, you might run into a problem. The next thing is mobile homes. So mobile homes is really the term to describe a pre-1976 or single wide or non-permanently affixed or in a park type of mobile home. So it is a specialty type thing that I don't know anybody that will lend on these. I mean, really, you're looking at private financing or auto loans. I don't know. It's really hard to find any financing on these. So I would run, not walk from these if you run into them. And then the third kind is what we're interested in primarily, and that's manufactured homes. So HUD made significant changes in the way manufactured homes were produced in 1976. I believe the law went into effect July of 1976. And it basically says that you have to use copper wiring, copper pipes, 2x4 construction, just really upped the game as far as the build quality and sophistication of manufactured homes. And that's really where the lending world has decided to draw the line. If they're 76 or newer, they're double wide, and they're on a permanent foundation, they're considered a manufactured home and eligible for all the products we're going to talk about here. So you'll see reference to an HCD 433 throughout this and just in your dealing with these manufactured homes. And that is actually the document that is recorded at the county that converts a manufactured home from being a DMV covered item to real property and taxed accordingly. So it'll get an AP number and it'll get taxed as real property on the county tax rolls. It's important. It's a necessity for us. So bottom line, treat modular homes just like stick-built homes for all intents and purposes, and know that you can do manufactureds, but stay away from the mobiles. Okay, what limitations are you dealing with? Well, for purchases and rate and terms, very few limitations. You can't quite go to 97 on conventional, but you can go to 95% purchase rate and term. You can go max financing on FHA, 96.5, and you can go 100% on VA. USDA does indicate they will do manufactured housing. However, I don't know a single lender that does it. I have the feeling that it has to do with warehouse lines and investor appetite for them at USDA, and there's none. So if you ever find a company that does them, let me know. I'd love to be able to help other people out with that information, but so far I haven't found anything. That's over the course of several years. Cash out transactions, however, are severely limited. You are looking at 65 LTV for conventional, and you're looking at 80% for FHA. And the big thing is 20-year maximum term for both those programs. So it's not that not that great a program. It's really not designed for you to be pulling cash out, and the guidelines accordingly reflect that. Also, there are hits to the fee. You're going to be looking at 1 to 1.5 points to fee, but call me because it kind of changes over time, and I don't want to put rate sheet specific details in here because we all know their subjects change. Other things to consider: these are owner-occ only. These are 1 unit only, and it's super important that you understand, because it commonly is presented to me in the form of questions of, hey, what about a manufactured home that has a trailer in the back, or an accessory dwelling unit, or a second house? And the answer is, if you have a manufactured home and you have any other living structure on that property, it's a dead deal. It's 1 unit. It used to be that FHA, for example, would let us do an accessory, and Freddie, I think, was also good at it, would allow us to have an accessory dwelling on the property. And then we morphed it further and then went, well, what if we tear out the kitchen of that old trailer in the back and just call it storage? Well, sure enough, HUD has come out with frequently asked question clarifications to say removing the kitchen does not turn it into storage and does not make it acceptable. So all of those loopholes are pretty much closed. You're looking at 1 home, 1 structure. That's what you can get. However, sheds, shops, outbuildings without a kitchen facility, that sort of thing, are still acceptable. Reach out to me for more detail on all of that. Okay, what are you going to ask for? What are the documentation nuts and bolts that you're going to need? So the big thing is an HCD 433 from the county. Talked about that a little bit before. Again, that's that document that's recorded that basically turns this manufactured home into real property. So you'll need that on every transaction. At PRMG, we require that at the time of application, that 433 be filed. There are lenders out there that I think will let you do it prior to, so you could go and put a foundation on and get it converted and then fund the loan. At this time, PRMG doesn't do that, but call me. That could change. It's an appetite-driven thing. So also, engineer certifications are common with manufactured homes. You'll always need them on FHA. You'll need them in the case of any conventional loan whereby any modifications have been done to the properties that affect or puncture the skin of the outside of the home. So if you put an add-on, if you put on a mudroom, a garage, a deck, an awning, anything like that where you cut into the outside of it, you're going to need an engineer cert. And it's a structural certification, to be specific. So decks frequently are questioned, like, well, what about a deck that's attached, that's a freestanding deck next to it? If it's bolted into the home, we're going to need the certification. So just be aware of that. And then HUD plate IDs. So when manufactured homes are built, HUD attaches a plate to them with an ID number on it. That number is what we use to track when it was built, what dealer it went to, and where it landed once it was left the dealer's floor. The important distinction here is if manufactured homes are moved, they're unlendable. So if you bought one from another lot and moved it over here and then put it on a foundation, it's been moved. It's untouchable by all lending programs with the exception of VA. But there's a lot of intricacies there. Contact me if that's something you're looking into. If for some reason those plates are gone, painted over, destroyed, illegible, whatever, there is a website, ibts.org, which actually I think stands for the International Brotherhood of Trade Secrets or something like that. I don't know. There's a service that they offer that will actually, with the property location and the make and model of the manufacturer, will go back and get that plate information and give it to us so that we can verify it hasn't been moved, etc. So know that you've got that. What questions should you ask at the time of inquiry from a realtor or a borrower or something like that? So if someone calls, what do I ask? Well, basically just a simple hit list of information, and then with that you would reach out to me and we can talk about structuring the file from there. Is it a manufactured, mobile, or modular home? Ask the question, you'll be amazed at the answers you'll get, and then the following questions will tell you more about whether that's really the case. So is it 76 or newer? Is it double or triple wide? Get that information. Is it affixed to a permanent foundation? You can reference the HCD 433. No one will know. Maybe a realtor will know, but see if you can find out that information. Is there just one living space on the property? We talked about that. Has it ever been moved? And that's a super important question, because realtors, especially when they're dialing for dollars, are famous for calling their preferred lender and finding out, oh, can't do it because it's moved. Then they call someone else and hope to find a loan officer that doesn't know any better. Why they would do this, I have no idea. But, they're just looking for the answer they want, right? So make sure that you find out if it's been moved ahead of time or not. And then, are there any modifications or additions to the property? And that'll let you know, and you can prepare the parties involved that a structural engineer's report is probably going to be necessary. And then lastly, is it in a flood zone? Flood zones can impact manufactured housing financing, so you'll want to get that info right away. Are they worth it? A lot of people will say, oh, it's just not worth doing. Well, the simple fact of the matter is, these properties are not any more difficult to lend on than a regular stick-built home. They're high quality construction. When they're put together well and you take off all the wheels and you put the siding on, they can look just like stick-built homes. You can walk through one and not even know. So they are well made. They have a stigma attached to them. It's the case, but it's not fair, because ultimately these are high quality homes, and there's good borrowers that want them. A lot of retirees, a lot of people that are trying to downsize will want to move into one of these, and those are excellent borrowers. And we're seeing, as prices go up, these are going to become value propositions for people. So don't skip on this, valuable subset of the business. We like to joke about how the nickname of these things are disaster magnets, but it's really not the case anymore, especially in California and the western states. I think that reputation came largely from the South, and when there were single wides sitting in swaths and were hit by hurricanes and tornadoes, they go up pretty fast. But the modern ones are certainly nice, and you shouldn't dissuade yourself or your clients from looking at them. So anyway, in closing, thanks for your time. I appreciate it. Here's my contact information. If you like this video series, please like and subscribe, and I'll try and bring you more information. All right, thanks.